Hey everyone, welcome back to this channel. In this video, I'm going to show you what I'm trying to do in terms of setting up communications between two FieldFoxes for ERTA, Extended Range Transmission Analyzer. One of the challenges in this mode is the length that we need to have the trigger in and out in between two FieldFoxes. It has to be the same length as the Ethernet cable. So I'm thinking of tapping into the ports in the Ethernet cable which is not being used for communications to see whether we can transmit the trigger signal between FieldFoxes so that both are triggered at the same time and do the measurements. So I'll quickly walk through what I've done in the setup. So let's look at the first FieldFox. So we have this trigger in, we have this trigger in here, and this trigger in supposed to be connected to the trigger out over here, and the trigger in for this second FieldFox will be coming. FieldFoxes other than D model, the trigger in will be here, but for the D model, the trigger in and out is over here. So it's a crisscross type setup, and this scope is just to verify the trigger signal in between the FieldFoxes. So what I have here is a breakdown board for Ethernet cable, and you can actually search online a quick pin layout for Ethernet RJ45, and there are 4 pins that are not being used for communications. They only occupy pin number 1, 2, 3, and 6 for RX and TX. So this cable, it's from the trigger out from FieldFox. So trigger out, I connect it to the pin number 7 and 8, and it goes through the Ethernet cable, and at the other end I tap it out, these 2 pins, and connect it to the trigger in of this FieldFox. I didn't do the other one assuming that it's the same. So this is the probe tip, and on the other side I also have the breakout board for the RJ45, 2 different pins. So what happened is, I'm going to go through here. Let's go through the connection wizard and continue. So this is my partner, which is over the other side. This is my partner FieldFox. So let's change this to default, and then you complain that you can't find, obviously because it's not connected. And let's change it back to 100.33, and it says communicating. So that means that the TRX between this port and this port just work fine, and with the tapping out of the signal, it doesn't really mess up the communication part. So let's click continue and continue test partnership. This is where I want to test whether the trigger works between that, even though it's using the 2 pins of the RJ45. So it seems like it was working fine, and currently you won't see any activities here because there's no movement, there's no testing. So let's go back to ERTA partnership. So it's already running. So this is the signal that we want to see. So I'm going to change the medium between these 2 ports to optical, which is this one from the previous video. So I'm going to sign that up, and I'm going to walk through again. So I just changed the cable, so from this transmit, and I go through the optical, medium, and optical, come back here. So you're going to see something weird happening. So connection as wizard again. Let's go to start, continue, ERTA partner. Let's change to something else, and then let's go back to the original one, your complaints, which is fine. Let's go back to that. So it's able to see the second FieldFox, and then we just exit. So we want to trigger the measurements right now to see whether the trigger start from this guy will pass through here, Ethernet cable, and go through the optical side of the receiver. So let's give it a try. ERTA partnership. It says that partner validated, which is good. So communication part, not a big problem. Let's go to ERTA partnership. Let's try again. So you can see that it's still waiting for the trigger to happen. So there's not much activities happening because the channel 2, which is the green color, it doesn't show any signal that is being triggered. So in conclusion, based on this setup, if you are using optical as a medium which can transfer quite far, we are not able to transfer the trigger signal over that. So if I put it back, let's change this cable. So I just change back the communication directly from this point to this point using this cable, and you see that it's running well, and you can see that there are signal moving on. So in conclusion, yes, we can use copper cable RJ45 to communicate between two FieldFoxes, and also we can tap in using the unused pin, which for this case is 4th and the 5th, and also 7th and the 8th pin to work as the trigger transfer pin between FieldFoxes. So I hope this helped. Thanks for watching.